Hey everyone, Kyle here from Poseidon's Pets. So what I got for you today is I'm going to be posting the content I recorded when I moved. So I was able to record everything as I moved these tanks, and I just wanted to show you guys that process and what I did to move these tanks. So unfortunately, I have been having quite a few deaths since I moved, and that's bound to happen. You know, you can do everything possible right, but you're still gonna have some problems sometimes. It was a hot day when I moved, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how I moved the tanks and how I got them all into my car. Surprisingly, I got every single tank into the car with one trip, so that's pretty awesome right there. But won't make you wait any longer. Let's go ahead and get to it. So I would say the absolute safest way to move shrimp would be to net every single shrimp out, put them into a separate container, and then move the tank however you think would be best. In that way, what's happening is you're not having the shrimp in the tank while moving it, so they're not living in that stirred up environment. So you saw when I took those filters out how much sediment and stuff came off of it. So while you're doing that, you're stirring up all that gunk, and it's not good for the shrimp. So the best course of action would be to net all of the shrimp out, put them into a separate container, refill the tanks, let the filters go, suck up all those particulates, and then drip the shrimp back into that tank. So that way they can get used to the same temperature and all that. So I had to move my whole house in 2 days, so I didn't have the luxury of doing this. So the safest way I felt possible for my situation was to drain all the tanks, put the filters in a bucket with the tank water, so that way the filters stayed wet. So I was able to put every single tank in my car along with the stand, all the cinder blocks, and the buckets of water. So I was definitely surprised that, you know, we were able to fit this whole rack setup in the car on one trip. My new house wasn't too far away, but it was about 45 minutes away. So every trip counted. If I could fit as much as I could into this car, I definitely was going to be happy about that. And then this is us setting up the rack in our new house, and I want to give a big shout out to Ryan, Micah, everybody who helped us move. You guys are amazing. I definitely appreciate it, and I'm definitely excited for this new house to be able to, you know, build my shrimp pyre, my empire of shrimp. And I'm excited to be able to have the room and the space to set up this massive rack that I'm planning. And in the next week or two, you guys are going to see this new fish room build. So after we got everything over, what I did was I just took a piece of tubing. It looks like it's about 1/2 inch diameter vinyl tubing, and I added the water back in as slow as possible. So kind of using my hand as a surface break, so that way I'm not sitting there stirring up all that substrate, because some of these tanks are about 8 months old, and you got to imagine there's quite a bit of gunk in the bottom of it, and I didn't want to stir it up. So I did my best to prevent any sediment from being stirred up, but in the process, you know, you can see how cloudy those tanks are, and I'm sure that's what a lot of my problem is with moving the shrimp and the deaths I've been having. The other thing too is those buckets that I'm using, they're not food grade. I didn't realize that there was a difference between food grade buckets and non-food grade buckets, and I've been keeping fish for quite a while. I've always used Lowe's buckets, never had any issues. So now that I'm aware that, hey, there's food grade safe plastic, I should have gone out and bought more of those white jugs instead of the blue buckets. So in the short amount of time the water was in there, I doubt anything had leached in there. I think it's kind of this combination, perfect storm of situation, you know, moving the house. This house is a little bit warmer than our last one. So the shrimp just are struggling a little bit, and I definitely feel for them. So that's why I spent the last 10 days, you know, busting my butt every day after work to get this shrimp room back up and running, so that way they can get into that nice cool room instead of my kind of warmer kitchen. But I've got a ceiling fan in that room, and I feel that they're gonna thrive. They're gonna do so well. I just need to build my colonies back up and probably get some more shrimp along the way. But overall, moving these tanks wasn't too bad. A 10-gallon tank with a couple inches of water, it was super easy. They weren't heavy at all. Now, moving that 75 gallon, moving the 60 gallon, those were a beast. The 60 gallon, we left all the sand in the bottom of it, which I probably have about 100 pounds of sand in that tank. And it was a beast. Between three of us, we struggled. And this was after moving a whole house. So I was done by the end of it. That tank weighed so much. We should have taken the sand out, but like I said, timing. I didn't have a lot of time to really move. I got my keys for this house on the 14th, 13th, and then I had to be out of my current house by the 15th. So I had 2 days to get everything over. I couldn't have done it without the help of all my friends and family. Definitely appreciate you guys. You're amazing.
But it's like this. What's that? Oh, a lot of their stuff is their own.
So it's been a few weeks since I got everything moved over, and I've been having a lot of deaths. And it's an unfortunate thing when you move because you're stirring up the environment, you're stirring up the substrate. A lot of things can happen. I had to move these guys on one of the hottest days of the year. And it was 105 outside, and I was hoping for the best, that I wasn't gonna see too many deaths. And you know, first couple days I saw, okay, I got a couple deaths, and my colonies have been cut in half. I've got a few shrimp left that I should be able to rebuild most of the colonies, but it's a devastating thing to happen. Right now I'm currently dosing peroxide. I've been using Brightwell Aquatics florin bacter to kind of boost the filtration and the bacteria in there, as well as black water and some vitamin C. But it's an unfortunate thing. I'm just gonna have to keep doing water changes, and I'm gonna move these guys into the new shrimp room here soon. And after that, I'm not gonna mess with them too much. So hopefully, you know, my next few videos, I've got some good news for you guys, and I'm not seeing too many more deaths. I'm hoping everything stays where it's at right now. But thank you guys so much for watching. I definitely appreciate it. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.